Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to impart techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Enterprise Content Management at IMTC 2013, a preview. Our guest speaker today is Mr. Shrikant Kakaraparthi, Senior Technical Leader at IBM India Software Labs. Shrikant is a Senior Technical Leader, part of ECM Industry Solutions Organization at IBM India Software Labs. In his current role, Shrikant is responsible for design and development of industry accelerators and integrated assets in industry solutions space. Additionally, he is a lab advocate for strategic ECM customers to ensure client success and enablement. Prior to this, he held positions of data architect, data modeler, and DBA. Shrikant has more than 15 years of professional software experience in design, development, testing, and implementation of diversified business applications, worked with various businesses and technical units in the areas of supply chain, insurance, banking, healthcare, and content management. He is an accomplished public speaker, having spoken at various technical conferences and workshops internationally. As other interests, Shrikant is very actively involved in community events and volunteerism. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Shrikant. Mr. Shrikant, we are not able to hear you. Can you please check your mic? Hello? There's a lot of disturbance from your end.
Hi, I'm back.
Yeah, Shrikant. I can hear you now.
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's good now. You can start.
Thank you. Okay. So everyone, apologies for some technical snag in the mic. I hope it is clear now. So without further delay, let's progress. So I'm on slide 2. So it's a standard, disclaimer. Let's move on to the main agenda. So a quick look at the agenda, which we are going to explore in the next 55 minutes or so. The first one, the very important and very relevant to you. Why I need to attend IMTC 2013 and what is in store for you guys during the conference. Then I'll talk about smarter content solutions. So these are the new set of solutions we have been working on, and I will talk about few in this webinar. Of course, you will have deep dive sessions on each of these solutions in the IMTC conference. Next, we'll look at IBM Enterprise Content Management portfolio. So, and some cool stuff we have been working on, and most of it is now available as release products and upgrades. After that, I'll give you a detailed view of all the ECM sessions and events which are going to happen at IMTC conference. So this gives you an idea as what to expect from this conference for you. Finally, question and answers. This is very important. So we want to keep this as interactive as possible. So you'll have a dedicated Q&A session in the end. You can use the chat function on your, the meeting screen. So we will take up these questions at the end of this session. So let's move on to the next. So first of all, why IMTC 2013? As I said, you get a pulse on what's happening in the industry and in IBM. And of course, I will talk more about what is in it for you in ECM at this IMTC conference. So, as an attendee of the IMTC India 2013, you will not only hear directly from IBM, product experts, but you have a chance to learn and perfect your skills across 80 plus technical sessions. And you can also participate in hands-on labs and also complimentary certifications during the conference, which are free of charge. You can also learn tricks and techniques and new tools to drive greater efficiency and performance. And also be the first to hear how new product and technology advancements happening in these areas and what we have been working on and what we have released and what we are going to release. And on the best practices part, business and technology leaders and subject matter experts and practitioners will share the best practices for addressing industry-specific business and technical challenges and opportunities. And of course, it's an excellent opportunity for networking. You will get you have to take an advantage of meeting the industry experts, interact with your peers and business partners and IBM executives from across the world. So this is a very excellent opportunity for you to interact with all these folks. So I would strongly suggest whenever you get an opportunity, just stop by and talk to anyone whom you want to be here. Next, moving on to that. So what is enterprise content management here we're talking about? So this is one of the favorite slides I keep always. What is enterprise content management? If you are unfamiliar with the word ECM, that is enterprise content management, right? What it is and what it can do to your organizations. So before even understanding what is enterprise content management, let's understand what is content, right? So content management is really about all the different kinds of the documents, right? You see in your organizations, in your businesses, which are very key. Actually, these are the documents which supports your business, right? These can include any of your standard Word documents or your PowerPoint, Excel. It can also include, even the physical documents, like paper documents, which you receive from various vendors, partners, customers, right? Which comes in email. And also, it could be electronic faxes. Right? They all need to be scanned and digitized. And you have emails. You have audio, video, and computer output, and even electronic forms. So the important thing is, this is the content that generally supports the business. It helps support the business transactions and makes the business more effective, right? So this content supports both the internal and external teams that do business with the company. So it's very important. You need to manage all this unstructured information and to be able to leverage for your business outcomes. So what we see here is a content Big Bang theory. It's not a theory actually, it is fact. The explosion of the content is so vast, right? We need to create new phrases to define it actually. We know for years 80% of the content created in every business is unstructured, right? But what amazes us is how fast it is getting created. Today, if you see 90% of the information in the world today is created in the just last 2 years. So we're talking about a 90% of the content what we see today has been created just in last 2 years, right? A quintillion, another new word, typically I think quintillion stands for 1 followed by 30 zeros in, British, analogy. So an example to quote, 2.5 quintillion bytes of information is getting created every day. So as an example, if I have to explain what is a quintillion, if you can store 1,000 copies of a Shakespeare book, say for example, in one DVD, you can stack them up from Earth to Moon. So you can stack up these DVDs from Earth to Moon twice. So that is what we are talking about here, a quintillion. So imagine how much data and content is getting created every day. It's big. And also imagine the insights hidden, buried away inside this unstructured content, right? Imagine how much information, critical information is buried in this huge corpus of content. It's not just big we're talking about. It's everywhere, in every imaginable format, right? Unstructured information, when we say, could be your emails, images, videos, documents, social media, and anything else that doesn't live in rows and columns of the database. So in a very short description, anything which resides outside your tables, in rows and columns, you can treat it as a content or unstructured data. Just that when we think we had a handle on all of this content, new variety of content is emerging. And it's emerging very fast and posing further content challenges to harness and leverage it for business purposes. Now, to deal with such needs, to understand and derive insights from your content, you have to have the opportunity to unlock the content. Identify what is valuable and what is not. Maybe dispose of the not needed ones. It don't need to occupy storage space in your organizations. You should be able to dispose it off so that you can save huge, not only on the storage cost, but it also helps you for legal and compliance requirements. This is exactly what we do at IBM ECM, right? So when we say IBM ECM, so why IBM ECM? First of all, let me just give a little background. Nearly 25 years ago, we have started this space in the enterprise content management. We started off with document imaging and workflow. Then we have grown this in years. And now we have the best of breed technology from anywhere, starting from document imaging to this newer social content management, over to information lifecycle governance, and of course the best of case management, what we call advanced case management. And on top of that, content analytics. So you see now, IBM has industry's broadest and richest portfolio of capabilities to address all of the needs and challenges we have seen so far in the ECM space. So we have the history, we have the knowledge, and now we have the experience. Also, what we have seen over the years is having just core content platforms and product is not good enough to address and take on to these ever-evolving business problems. So to deal with such problems, we need smarter content solutions built on top of these core platforms. So smarter content solutions. This is exactly one of the key themes and focus areas in the IMTC conference, in the upcoming conference, the smarter content solutions. So in this conference, we will introduce you some new smarter content solutions we have developed. Of course, I'll talk about few of these offerings in this webinar, but there will be detailed deep dive sessions during the conference. So before we talk about the smarter content solutions, let me tell you a little background on what the smarter content solutions are all about. As you know, at IBM, we like taking on tough challenges to solve tough problems. So we are leveraging innovation coming out of our research labs in building these smarter content solutions. For example, if you talk about in healthcare, the patient care and insights. And in financial world, if you look at anti-money laundering and also crime analytics. So these are some of the cool stuff what we built and now we have brought into the market. We are actually leveraging the research work coming out of the research labs, getting into building these smarter content solutions. So let's talk about a couple of smarter content solutions, especially in the healthcare, right? We talked about. One of our new smarter content offering in this, if you look at healthcare costs are on rise everywhere due to lack of patient information. So the healthcare providers, the doctors, the physicians, the hospitals, and even the government agencies which are providing the healthcare, they lack the information about a patient, a 360-degree information and point-in-time information. So if you look at the statistics says, nearly 1 in every 5 Medicare patients discharged from the hospitals is getting readmitted within 30 days, which is incurring huge healthcare costs for the healthcare providers and even the government funding agencies. Now, how do we solve this problem? So we have a smarter content solution in this area called IBM Patient Care and Insights, a solution based on advanced analytics to identify new insights from the patient's data and identify more effective intervention opportunities. It also turns the insights into a personalized, individual, and accountable patient care management. As an example, if you look at, if you visit any doctor, so you will have some of the information available in hospital system or, on the doctor system, on a physician system, maybe, on some key sheets. But most of the information is recorded during your interaction, right? On your prescriptions, on your notes, records, lab testing reports, etc. And about the symptoms you talked with the doctor, the diagnosis done, and the treatments given, and the side effects, and relationships among them. This is invaluable. So you need to be able to harness and leverage this information. So exactly IBM Patient Care Insight, IPCI, allows you to analyze this information across the patient populations, identify the key patterns and the deviations, and identify the patients at risk, who are at risk, so that you can actually predict who are the patients who are going to likely be readmitted, post-discharge. And it also provides you a complete care plan management for a patient once he is discharged from the hospital. Typically, if a patient is discharged from the hospital, you will be given a prescription, a medication, and probably you may be asked to follow up with a physician, dietitian, nutrition, or you may be asked to take some regular clinical tests periodically. So managing this entire post-hospital care can be managed effectively using this IPCI. So make sure you attend a session or topic on this so that you will get to know more details on this solution. Another interesting business problem, fraud. It scares, right? If you look at many businesses, the key problem they face is a fraud. The estimate says in US alone, almost 1 trillion is lost in fraud every year. The key problem to detect any fraud is, it's not easy, right? It spreads across multiple systems, multiple geos and personas. So investigative agencies who are working on this often lack the ability to visualize and understand all of this data. So you need solutions to identify and prevent frauds. Not only that, but even to predict when a potential fraud is happening. So there you have another interesting, smarter content solution in fraud analysis area, what we call it as a IBM Intelligent Investigation Manager, right? In a short form, IBM IIM, right? This is the different. It's not that IIM. It's just Intelligent Investigation Manager. So this IIM optimizes fraud investigation and analysis for any sector you take, whether it's insurance, banking, healthcare, and other customers. And of course, public safety programs for government and law enforcement agencies. It dynamically coordinates and reports on cases. It provides analysis and, importantly, the visualization and enables more efficient and effective investigations. So behind the scenes, it leverages our core products like IBM Case Manager, and it integrates with I2. I think many of you are aware of I2, which was one of a recent acquisition by IBM, and of course content analytics with enterprise search to provide an intelligent investigation manager. So this solution actually helps organizations to improve their investigation effectiveness with a flexible case investigation environment, right? Investigative cases are always dynamic and flexible. You can't have a standard workflow or, a run-of-the-mill kind of a procedure like a loan origination or something. So investigative case management is always a challenging. So this is where IBM Case Manager, augments its dynamic, and ad hoc task handling capability for this intelligent investigation manager. And also it expedites investigations by analyzing and visualizing the fraud within both the structured and unstructured data across the silos. So make sure if your interest lies in this kind of fraud analysis, so you must attend this session at IMTC. Now, another key problem, right? Every organization faces at some point of time in time huge amount of data, huge storage costs, not sure what is there in it, whether it is there or not when it is needed. Do we need this at all? No, there are a lot of risks and compliance implications if we lose, that for that matter, even if we don't lose also, right? Because there are a lot of statutory and regulatory requirements in every industry, that drives better data governance practices. Today, companies and their information governance leaders are rapidly working to define programs and processes that enable defensible disposal of unnecessary data. Earlier days, it used to be, there used to be a notion called keep everything forever. Maybe, maybe it is needed. Maybe it's safe to have. But that is no longer a truth now. You need to actually dispose of the unnecessary data, but at the same time, you should be able to dispose defensibly, right? So this effort can curb the storage growth. It can dramatically lower your IT and legal costs and lower the organization's risk profile. I like the statement, just delete it. The best way to reduce the amount of data is delete it. I think, there is one key missing in this snapshot. I think it should be shift delete. Okay. So to tackle these challenges, what we talked, IBM has a comprehensive ILG, what we call Information Lifecycle Governance Product Portfolio, right? So Information Lifecycle Governance solution areas, if you talk about broadly, a value-based archiving. It helps IT and the business coordinate to archive their emails, their files, their application data, and even the social content on its business value and govern them efficiently. And of course, e-discovery for legal, right? And you have this records and retention management, right? Records management. So you have all these key, solution areas as part of ILG portfolio. Now, one more interesting addition to this ILG, Information Lifecycle Governance portfolio, the Stored IQ, a recent acquisition by IBM again in this space, right? A Stored IQ provides the first of its kind solution that introduce manage in place techniques, right? You don't need to move the data if you want to govern it, if you want to analyze it. You don't need to move the entire data across your systems into one place so that you can look at. No. Stored IQ provides this unique capability of manage in place techniques to identify, analyze, and act on unstructured data, and it no longer imposes movement of your data to a staging repository or to a centralized repository, right? If you look at the Stored IQ, so the active data intelligence, right? Every company has more data than it can manage, and this is true. Few can quantify it, few can locate it, or make much sense out of it when they need to. No wonder big data is so intimidating, right? Everywhere you hear big data. The place to start is to get smart about your data first, right? Even before you're embarking on a big data project, first you need to, get smart about your data. Do you know how much data you have? Do you know where it is located and how much is classified? Are you able to discern who owns it and where it's been? Do you know how old it is? Do you know how much is relevant to your business, or it's just eating up your storage space? Right? These are very important questions you need to find answers to. So with Stored IQ, you can quickly and cost effectively identify, analyze, and act on data to meet any business requirement. Without first moving it, right, to a repository or especially, and a specialized application. The knowledge you gain with stored IQ is just might give you the power to act decisively when it matters most, when it needs most. Similarly, active e-discovery. It's about the preservation and collection or mandatory steps in litigation process. In every legal, discovery process, preservation and collection are very, very important. It provides the legal the ability to analyze the data in place, estimate review cost, and make strategic settle versus dispute or argue decisions far earlier in the legal discovery process than later. Similarly, stored IQ for active information governance. So you will hear a lot about the stored IQ, one of our recent acquisition, in one of the deep dive sessions we have in the conference. So please make sure you plan to attend this session. Now, we're talking about few smarter content solutions. So all the smarter solutions we are talking about are built on our core capabilities, right? The 4-5 key capabilities we talk about. Capture, right? Ability to capture the content in any form, anywhere. It could be federated from many sources and be able to manage all of this content. Similarly, activate. Here we talk about active content, means content actually participating in your business process. That's what we call now as a case management. Similarly, socialize. So enabling the users to collaborate, be able to share the content, building relationship with the content. That's what socializing is all about. You need to build the relationship with the content. Similarly, analyze, to be able to do analytics. Interactive text mining, to gain more insights and use for business optimization. And finally, govern. Just now we talked about govern, information lifecycle governance. A complete information lifecycle governance, complying to all statutory and regulatory requirements. Now, another core element for delivering these smarter solutions to our customers is our valuable partners. They are the key ingredients in the recipe of the success. Partners, which means you all, right, who are on the call right now. You all bring together a wealth of industry experience. So as ability to build a lot of custom assets and solutions on our core ECM products and platforms. So once again, thank you all for being our most trusted partners and advisors throughout this journey. Now let me give a teaser of what we have been doing in our core product portfolio. We have talked about the smarter content solutions as I introduced you to a few of the smarter content solutions in the area of healthcare, fraud, and ILG portfolio. Now you also get a glimpse to know what's happening in core product and content management platform. So what we have been doing in this core product portfolio in the last few months, few days, and even till now, what we have been working on. Of course, as I said, there are very elaborate sessions on these areas in the IMTC conference, but let me give you a teaser about this work, what is happening and what's already available for you guys in the market. So one of the key things we have been doing is, I would say, which was a major gap so far, was redefining the user experience for ECM, right? Very, very important, right? User UI, the one comprehensive UI. It actually helps you to build the end-user relationship with the content. So UI is very critical. So I'm sure many of you might have heard about a product what we released called IBM Content Navigator, right? In a short, we call it as ICN. So this UI provides end users with the power to view the content from multiple federated repositories, right? So it's not just only a FileNet Content Manager or IBM Content Manager or IBM CMOD. Even any CMIS-based repository. So IBM Content Navigator is kind of a single key solution leveraging the content from anywhere, right? You can use this with a variety of IBM products, as I said, to provide an intuitive mobile content experience, right? You have a mobile content architecture with Content Navigator. So you can access, as I said, could be a FileNet Content Manager or IBM Content Manager, popularly known as CM8, even a CMOD, Content Manager on Demand, or a CMIS-based repository. So Content Navigator is all about end-user self-management, self-provisioning, and of course extensibility, and also the mobile experience, right? Mobile user experience. and it's based on Dojo and CMIS open standards. So you can quickly develop a plugins according to your requirement, and you should be able to integrate into Content Navigator. So another area in the smarter content is capture. So we had a tremendous success in this area with the data cap, right? IBM data cap. We shipped a new release and a version of data cap Taskmaster in August. So this release marks a very significant things, right? It's about dramatic user experience, and a lot of customers have been asking about support for international languages. So we have come up with few international language support, and also you will learn more in deep dive session on the data cap Taskmaster. And of course, you do have hands-on session also talking about how you can develop applications using data cap. So please make sure you mark this on your calendars and try to attend to know more about what's happening in this data cap Taskmaster. Similarly, in the areas of advanced case management, right? Advanced case management, which means putting content into motion. We have IBM Case Manager, as you all know, first release in the tail end of December 2010, as you all know. Now we are into 5.1.1, which includes a lot of new capabilities, right? The things which customers are looking in advanced case management have been, a lot of things have been addressed in this 5.1, and many are getting addressed in the next vNext release, what we call it as ICM 5.2. Right? Some of the key things like role-based queues and additional components, and pretty soon, in the next quarter or so, you will hear about a new release of ICM 5.2, which has many features built in, addressing all the key gaps and problems which the customers have been asking for, right? Which we could not incorporate into our earlier release. So watch out for the sessions on this topic. You have a wealth of information available in these sessions. You will get to know a lot about, in this advanced case management area. Next, the new insight space, right? Content analytics. So we have delivered IBM Content Analytics 3.0, which has a new set of capabilities. And it's like analysis, as I said, interactive text mining, analysis-driven navigation. So you can visualize, actually there are 5 to 6 kind of visualizations as you're doing the mining. So you have excellent UI built for it. So, and also it has integration with the big insights, which opens up a big web of analytics. So please make sure you plan to attend a session on IBM Content Analytics in IMTC conference. Next, the ILG space, what we talked about. Really, we have been working hard in creating a holistic solution in the information lifecycle governance area, and ultimately what we call defensible disposal. So you will learn how defensible disposal is changing information economics for IBM customers, right? This is again a new a term, information economics, right? So including how the programs help eliminate waste, save money, and optimize the information management and deliver more value to customers. You will also hear about some key updates in the product areas in the information lifecycle governance portfolio, especially in the area of records management, like what we call IBM Enterprise Records, right, IER. So formally it is called as Records Manager. Similarly, e-discovery Manager. And in the smarter archive space, you also hear IBM Content Collector, ICC in a short, what we call. So you get to know what are the latest features, additions, or any issues fixed in these products in the sessions dedicated for this ILG portfolio. So watch out this space to hear more during the conference. Okay, so now we know so IBM Enterprise Content Management has the broadest and richest portfolio in the market, allows very common use cases to be achieved in a very efficient and optimized manner. Right? It provides an extensible portfolio capable of scaling with our customer needs. Volume, breadth, the range of use cases across the industries. Includes the transactional content management, you have the social content management, process optimization, the governance capabilities we've talked about, and information access, and analytic capabilities to find the right information at the right time to get insights to optimize your business results. So this snapshot gives you an overall, view of what ECM sessions, what ECM sessions are going to be during the conference. If you look at across all the 5 key areas of ECM, you have the capture, what we call it as the basic content management. So you have the data cap taskmaster sessions, and you have the case foundation, IBM case foundation 5.2, and you get to hear also about IBM content manager on demand, CMOD. And on the socialize, you have this content navigator, which we talked about, so you will get to hear. And also you have a session which talks in detail about how to develop this plugin extensions and custom actions in Content Navigator so that you will be able to build your components to build your overall solution, right? And in the ILG space, Information Lifecycle Governance, you have an ILG primer session which covers all the solution areas we talked about in the archival, e-discovery, and governance. And also you have a session on stored IQ. We talked about recent acquisition. So very interesting session. Make sure you attend this. Now coming to case management, advanced case management. So we have these sessions spreading across the case manager product, right from extending and customizing the case manager according to your requirements using the most popular Dojo framework and widgets. Then we talked about some smarter content solution in the area of fraud detection and analysis. That is IBM IIM, Intelligent Investigation Manager. So you have a session to talk about it. And importantly, IBM Case Manager, what's new? So what's new in the IBM Case Manager? What's going to come? So you get a chance to hear in these sessions. And of course, many of the customers so far before Case Manager are on our BPM and BPF platforms. So you have a session. So we have our SMEs coming and talking about how exactly you can plan your transition, right? What's the methodology behind transitioning from your BPF to ICM? So you get to know more about in these sessions. And in analytics space, you have healthcare smart content solution. We talked about IPCI, that's IBM content, patient insights. And also you have a session on content analytics. So you have around 16 plus sessions, deep dive technical sessions. These are few technical sessions. It provides you architecture, it provides you the capabilities, and it gives you also insights into what are the best practices you have to follow across. And a few of the customer success stories will be shared with you, how they dealt with these problems and how they could able to overcome these customer architecture challenges. So there's a lot of information among these sessions. So I would recommend and suggest you to plan in advance and make sure that you attend them on time. Next, of course, we always love to talk about our products, right, at IBM. So we talk about products, we are fascinated, we are excited about the kind of things we are working on, we are developing, and we are building the smarter content solutions. But in this conference, it's not just about all we talk about and we tell about our products, right? There's a lot for you as well, right? We have a hands-on labs wherein you can get your hands dirty on these, solutions, what we talk about. Practically, literally, you can build a solution, a sample solution. So you have excellent hands-on solutions to help you to do some labs where you gain knowledge, you gain hands-on knowledge. So once you complete these hands-on labs, so you'll be able to, even go for a certifications, right? There is a lot of complementary certifications. So IBM professional certifications, what you do in this space, you have a complementary certification schedules. So please check the agenda, IMTC conference catalog, and plan for and book your slots in advance so that you can go and give the certification. I promise, once you attend these sessions and if you are able to do the hands-on lab sessions, I'm sure you will be able to get certified on the spot, right? So please plan carefully. And of course, importantly, meet the expert session. So it's very, very important. You're going to have experts from worldwide coming to this conference. So make sure you check the catalog, you check the agenda, and see the sessions where they are happening, and go there and participate. Talk with the experts, know from them how these problems, your customer problems which you are trying to solve, have been already solved in the various geos, in the various industries, how they have been solved. So it's a very good opportunity for you to establish a relationship, right? So you can interact with them on their wikis, blogs, you can just connect it with them. So make sure you leverage most of these meet the expert sessions, right? These are not formal sessions again, like someone will be presenting something, and it's all about discussions. So multiple, folks comes from different industries, different fields, and, they talk about a problem, and they ask any questions. If they want to have a roadmap discussions, you want to understand what's going to happen next. Okay, what's the next big thing happening in the case management? What's the next big thing in the capture, right? So you get to hear from them. So they will be able to share you a wealth of information. So I would strongly recommend and suggest to make most of this conference time, right? Okay, so there you go, the destination. I'm sure everybody knows. So it's on May 8th, 9th, and 10th this year at Leela Palace, Bangalore. So mark your calendars and plan to attend and participate in this premier discussion on the future of ECM, Enterprise Content Management. Receive the best in technical education and free certification while attending. As I said, you can meet one-on-one with thought leaders and subject matter experts who will share the benefit of their knowledge and experience with you. So this forum is specially designed for you to help you succeed. So once again, be sure to join us on May 8th to 10th, and I look forward to seeing you there. So thank you once again for listening to me patiently. I hope this was useful to understand what's there in for you at IMTC conference. Now I'll open up this stage for any questions. So we already have
presentation, Mr. Srikanth. Yeah, I will send you a few questions. You can continue with answering them.
Right. So we have few questions. So in the interest of everyone, let me repeat the question and then we'll talk about. So one of the questions comes from Mahesh Hashbule is, what are the other ECM tools for other than IBM tools, and if there are any, how will you differentiate between them? Okay. So to me, this question is more of what are the other ECM tools for other than IBM. So, well, as I talked about, when we're talking about ECM, it's not about just one product, or it's not just about one technology. It's about overall ECM as a domain where you have various capabilities, right? From capture, where you have all this document imaging, scanning, doing OCR, ICR capabilities, and to be able to manage them in the repositories, right? And also you have this case management. Earlier, traditionally used to call business process management, BPM, but now we call it as a case management, providing case workers the ability to define their tasks, to be able to perform the ad hoc dynamic tasks rather than a run-of-the-mill kind of a workflow automation, static flows. So those areas you have a lot of products. Similarly, you have in information lifecycle governance, you have in the content analytics space. So other than IBM products, yes, you have a lot of other vendors who are offering in this space. For example, you talk about Documentum, so they have their repository, they have similar kind. So ECM as an industry, ECM as a domain, these are the 5 key core areas. So different vendors have their products and tools to offer and to address the problems. Because every customer may not require the entire ECM platform, right? They may need only the capture solution, or some customers may need, it all depends on the use case, only the case management, or only the records management, or it could be only the content analytics. So you have many other vendors in the market who are offering. But one thing is you need to bear in mind, nowadays all these vendors are again sticking to one CMIS open standard, right? No matter what repository or which vendor repository you are going to use, but there is an open standard, CMIS standard, on which if you build your application, you can use that application straight away with any of these repositories. So that is where I talked about the IBM Content Navigator. So we call it as a one UI, one GUI for any ECM repository. So if you have ECM repository, so if you build an application on Content Navigator, you should be able to use that for accessing documents across multiple heterogeneous repositories. Okay, so one more question from Saurabh Tiwari says, sir, can you explain more about Dojo? So Dojo, as you know, that it's a kind of a toolkit which is most popular and most widely, and again it's an open source standard to build your UI applications, your UI components, what we call widgets, right? Or in short form, we call it as the digits. So earlier, if you want to build a UI, you need to build using your HTML, your JavaScripts, and whatever, pages. Now you can actually build your UI using Dojo Toolkit, which internally embeds all of the things. It's been a library built on open source, and that is widely accepted and used standard now to build UI components. Hope that answers. Maybe you can Google it for it. You will learn more about Dojo Toolkit. The next question is, what are the dependencies required for IBM Content and Case Manager? That is the software and hardware. So this question comes from Shweta Pandit. So when I talked about IBM Content Manager, as I said, in a product portfolio, if I have to tell a very rough estimate, IBM ECM portfolio consists of more than 100 plus products, right? But in a broader sense, if you look at every of this, to build a platform. So IBM ECM is again not just a point solution or a product. We are talking about a platform, enterprise content management platform. On top of it, you can actually build your application or your, the solution what you want to. So in a broader sense, a platform requires a database, right? So we support almost most of the market-leading databases like DB2, IBM DB2, Oracle, SQL Server. Similarly, it requires an application server, right? So you have WebSphere application server, you have WebLogic, you have, JBoss. So you can check out on the specific documentation, but we support most of the, leading application server from different vendors. And similarly, you need a user directory, right? So the logged in user, to manage the login user accounts, what we call as LDAP. Again, here we support wide variety of LDAPs. So hope I answered your question. In a broader sense, it requires a middleware. That is what we call a database, a application layer, application server, and an LDAP. On top of this, you have all these products and solutions you can actually install and configure. Okay. The next question, does IBM provide them along, or are they to be procured separately? Same from Shweta. Yeah, it all depends on licensing bundle pack. Say, for example, if you buy a case manager, it comes with a bundled database, bundled middleware, and bundled, LDAP. But of course, if your customers or you already having invested in one of the databases or one of the application server, you can still use this product to configure it. As I said, it supports a wide variety of these middleware components. But most of the product bundles, if you see, yeah, they are bundled. So if you're talking about a production imaging edition, so imaging, capturing, document, storage, management, everything, so it bundles all the needed middleware and the solution components. But again, you also will get only the point product, which you can already install and configure according to the middleware what you already invested in. There's one more question: how easy it is to customize the ECM in terms of UI, search capabilities, and repository reporting? So this question comes from Sitaraman N. So as I said, IBM Content Navigator. So this is the future of ECM. So this is the one UI, one ECM UI, what we call. So earlier you have a native UIs for each of the product portfolios we talked about. Let it be FileNet Content Manager, you have Workplace, Workplace 60, so IBM Content Manager, Content Manager on Demand. So you have native UIs developed. But as I said, over the years we have been working on this problem, and now we have a solution in place, what we call it as IBM Content Navigator, which is again a very, very open standard, and which you can easily integrate with any of your existing repositories, and you can build a plugins using Dojo, again, which is open source. So you can build your Dojo components easily. You can plug in and you can build your applications. So I would strongly recommend to attend the IBM Content Navigator session, where you will get a clear idea about the one ECM UI we're talking about. Once you have a Content Navigator in place, you don't need to no longer worry about the native UIs. So if you are an IBM Content Navigator, you can actually integrate and leverage any of your repositories you have. Okay, the next question, I think we are good on time, so let me take a few more questions. Is the seminar and the guest lectures at Leela absolutely free or chargeable? What is the timing for those 3 days? How many hours for guest speaking, timings, etc.? This question comes from Abhishek Mishra. A very good question, a very relevant question. Is this free? I don't think so. It is not. But for all the partners, vendors, and system integrators, all this, so you need to contact IBM sales channels. So they offer a huge discounts and they offer huge complimentary. So I can't quote what is the price and what discounts they give, but trust me, every time this conference happens, it will be always house full. So you can guess, but definitely not free. Huh? Okay, so next question, do you need any hardware related infrastructure in place for content management solution to be implemented? This comes from Kamesh Shah. Okay, so hardware, yes, definitely. There are recommended hardwares depending upon what kind of a solution you want to build in the ECM space. If it's just only document management or content management, yes, there are certain recommendations. You can access on the World Wide Web. You go to IBM software, just search for hardware software recommendations for content manager. So you will get a document which talks about the bare minimal hardware software configurations required. And they don't require extensive, servers or data centers to be. It all depends on how much scale you want to, and whether you want to have a high availability, DR, disaster recovery. So it depends on the, the customer need. There is a sizing guidelines available, right? So you can see them so that you will get an idea. And of course, I strongly recommend you can take IBM's help, the sales or tech sales help. If you are involved or engaged with any of the opportunity, they will help you to size your hardware. They have a systematic way of sizing a hardware based on the customer use case. Okay, so next question, will stored IQ be a big leap or advancement of the basic ECM? This question comes from Sitaraman. And so the stored IQ, as I said, it's definitely a big leap, but not just an incremental advancement in the ECM space. The stored IQ exactly fits in our information lifecycle governance. As I said, the most important thing is in-place management of your content. So simple example is stored IQ. One of the simple demo which you can find in any of the web is you must be having a wealth of information lying across all your desktops and servers in your organization. But you want to just find out what is it, how old it is, where is it, those kind of things. Stored IQ can be configured in such a way that you don't need to actually move the content from there into some centralized location or staging area. It helps you to actually be the content in place, but still be able to leverage and provide you answers to your questions, what you're looking for. So this is a very recent acquisition by IBM and very much, a key value add to our information lifecycle governance portfolio. So I would recommend, sir, to go and attend this session. You will get more insights and, from this. Okay, the next question. In the ECM space, is there any plan to cover specific topics in near future, as the session was more about upcoming? Sushil Agarwal. Yes, this session is meant to give you a teaser, give you a sneak preview of what are the kind of sessions, what are the kind of things events which happens in this conference. And of course, I introduced you to few areas of, the smarter content solutions and the core capabilities. We talked about case manager, navigator, but in the conference, during conference, you have close to around 20 odd sessions to cover this entire ECM area, right? So another question from Abhishek Mishra, how can we see FileNet and ECM with respect to knowledge enhancement at the seminar? Okay, so the answer to the question is the FileNet, if you look at as an ECM, so if you're looking at what your requirement is about a knowledge management or document management or imaging management or a case management, or if you're looking for a workflow automation, or if you're looking for a governance, content analytics, so you have all these various solution areas. So you will be able to get a clear idea of how you can actually leverage this ECM portfolio to build. So it's not about, as I said, building an entire ECM thing. It's about visualizing how you can drive the ECM strategy for any of your customer opportunity, so that the platform should be sufficient enough to build and to build on top of that platform. Not just you build one thing and next time if you want to add some more capability, you don't need to rip and replace, or you don't need to do anything, right? So that's the kind of information you will be able to get. Integrating audio and video content on the go will be a requirement, like capturing on mobiles, tablets, and pushing to the ECM platform. Is IBM having a solution for that? A question from Sitaraman. Yes. So if you look at the content navigator platform we talked about, that's what the building relationship between the end user and the content management, right? Your system. So it allows we have the mobile architecture which allows you to have applications like if you talk about iPad, right? iApp. So you have an application through which you can actually click the photograph and actually add it as part of your business process on the fly, right? So you are working on a case process. So a case comes to you and you need to capture a field report, or you need to take a photograph of the go down or workshop or a product. You can actually click it through that app, and you can actually add it to your content in the process. So you have a mobile platform. So you will get to know more during the deep dive session. Can we integrate IBM products to other products? That comes from Shiva Chinimilli. Yes, as I said, IBM platform provides you a very open standard interfaces like CMIS, which is a very open standard. You can integrate any open standard platform using CMIS. And on the other side, if you are building a custom application, so IBM ECM platform offers you a wide variety of APIs. Let it be Java API, web services, or you have CMIS, or you have native API, C++, .NET. So you have almost all the possible technological flavor APIs. So you can quickly develop your applications, right? If you're talking about UI, I already suggested, right? Look at Dojo, right? Look at IBM Content Navigator. So it helps you to build a neutral, technology neutral, platform neutral application using Dojo. Right? Next question is, in IBM Case Manager 5.1.1, we can't use ICN 201 widgets as those widgets are built on AMD. So what is the way to use ICN widgets in IBM 5.1.1? Okay, so Pankaj Gupta, yeah, so I would, as rightly said, 5.1.1 has a business space in it, and you might have developed your widgets using iWidget. So iWidget, to develop an iWidget is primarily of a Dojo, and you need to just use iWidget wrapper. So the best practices customers should follow to keep themselves, neutral from any technological upgrades or, their technological discontinuation is to have most of your logic in Dojo and just use the iWidget wrapper. So tomorrow in future release, if you want to move it to non-business space kind of environment, you will be able to easily, just refactor that thing into that. So currently, yes, in 5.1, it is the supported one, but if you look at in the future release, in the upcoming release, we are going to support this latest version as well. Now, another question from Pankaj Gupta, will IBM Case Manager 5.2 support WebLogic? I think still, since it is upcoming release, so I would keep that question till the information is publicly available. But yes, our best efforts are to support. I think WebLogic is already supported in the earlier versions if you talk about WebSphere and all. So you might definitely see all the leading vendor middleware will be supported. So I would suggest you to watch out this space. Pretty soon you will hear announcements on this. Next question, last question, Suresh Kumar VC. Do you use OCR capabilities in document management solution? So I would consider this as last question. Yes. If you talk about DataCap, IBM DataCap, what we talked about as a part of ECM, it has definitely not only OCR capability, but you may also want to read about ICR, Intelligent Character Recognition we talk about. So DataCap is very good in doing both OCR and ICR, also barcode recognition. So ICR is, you can refer it to as even reading the handwritten text, handwritten script. So the accuracy rate and the efficiency rate is very high compared to any other, imaging product in the market. So I would recommend to read about more on this DataCap, OCR and ICR capabilities. All right, so I think we're done with the questions. So if any further questions, so that's my email ID on the last chart. Feel free to drop me a note. So I will try my best to answer your questions. If not, I will definitely connect you to the subject matter experts in IBM who can definitely answer your questions. So with this, I would like to thank all once again for taking your valuable time and listening to this. And I'm really excited to seeing you all there in the conference. So once again, any questions, feel free to drop a note. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for the presentation, Mr. Shrikant. It was a great webinar. I'm also thankful to all our participants for the support in making this webinar a success. I would like to let you know that the recording of this session would be available on techgeek.com by today evening. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.